two little churches here? Other ones besides?
What's wrong with this one?
Okay.
Oh, I like that. Can someone go on to Facebook real quick and make sure this is live streaming and you can hear it? Sorry to make you get your phone out. Welcome to the My LightWorker Institute Love Church. I'm so glad you're here, and we are live streaming on Facebook. So those of you that cannot be here, I hope you're checking us out via Facebook as well. We have lots of fun stuff and inspirational stuff planned for you. The time change has screwed everybody up, and so if you're my friend or my client and you text me, Facebook me, email me, or message me over the next hour, I won't get it. My phone is live streaming. I won't see your comments today, so I'll try to answer them later, and I know we're going to have everybody show up here in an hour. But that's okay. So I want to start by saying welcome to the Love Church. So let's go ahead and we're going to start with a prayer. So if you will find that center place in your heart. When I like to pray, I like to put my hands over my heart to start. That way I know where my intention and my focus, I know where they're going. I want to be very heart-centered. I want to be in a place of love and in a place of peace. Benevolent and loving presence of God, we come before you now in this moment of inspiration and devotion. We seek wisdom, we seek peace, and we seek alignment. We ask that you open our hearts, our eyes, and our ears for greater moments of truth, clarity, and wisdom. We offer our love and gratitude for this sacred space, for this place of connection and connectedness, for the friends and the family that we come together with, and we just offer a place of love. In Christ's name we pray, amen.
Amen.
Amen. Okay. So we are going to start services here at the Love Church with our statement of intent, okay? You have one on your chair. For those of you that are following along, you'll have to, I'll post it later so that you will have it. So we'll say this all together, okay? I come as I am, and I am enough. I release old belief systems and embrace deeper levels of understanding and wisdom. I seek God consciousness, and I align with the greater truth. We come together to create a better world through loving ourselves and all others. We practice love in actions through acts of kindness, compassion, and unity. We support each other in creating lives filled with joy, laughter, kindness, empowerment, and unity. We focus on Christ consciousness and creating a more peaceful and loving world by being the embodiment of that peace in our thoughts, words, and actions. And we are open and receptive to all good. For those of you that aren't here in person, you just should have seen it. Everybody did this. Everybody said we are open and receptive to all good, because how else are you going to let it in? How else are you going to let it in unless you're truly sending those messages that you are open and receptive to all good? All right. We go ahead and begin with another song. This is a moment of quiet contemplation. After we have this song, then Regina is going to come up and lead us on a meditation.
morning, everyone. Oh, hi. It's good to see everybody. Okay, so I'm just really honored to be able to be one of the first folks here to offer something for your spiritual nourishment. I teach clients this all the time, and I'm very excited. Cindy, you've heard this before with a head-heart cohesion is what this is. But Greg Braden, last year I heard Greg Braden talking about head-heart cohesion and how important it was to have a connection between our big heart and our little heart. Did you know that you have a little brain in your heart? We are all born with 40,000 neurite cells in our heart, which means there quite literally is a little heart in the brain, or a little brain in the heart. I'm always saying that backwards. So, Leslie, when you said something earlier about putting your hands over your heart, there's some science behind that. Because if you put your hand over your heart, then your awareness automatically goes to the little brain in your heart. And then when you begin to think about the things that you're grateful for, to think about things that you're happy about and compassionate about, it begins to harmonize the big brain in the head with the little brain in the heart. And when that happens, after a 3 minutes time span of doing that, of being focused on something that you're grateful for and compassionate about, that harmonization process releases 1,300 biochemical processes in the body that are healing and anti-aging, which is awesome and scientifically proven to last 6+ hours. So if you do this a couple, 3 times a day, you are keeping those hormones rolling through your body that are healing and anti-aging. So I think that's just quite and it's so easy, so easy. So you put your hands over your heart, and then you begin to slow your breath. And as you slow your breath, you are communicating to your body that you are safe. You're pulling it out of the sympathetic nervous system, which is fight, flight, or freeze. And you're putting it into the parasympathetic nervous system state of being, which is the state of wellness. And so close your eyes and slow your breath. And just begin to focus on something that you are grateful for, something or someone that you are compassionate about, something or someone that is near and dear to you. And as we listen to the soft music, we're going to do this for about 3 minutes. as we finish up our 3 minutes, I want to encourage you to remain in this state of being and see your heart connected to every other heart in this room and every other heart on this planet connected, as we ask God to infuse that network of connected hearts with beautiful 12D white light. Thank you. Have a wonderful Sunday. I have handouts here, and I'll post this online under this feed. Take this home, teach your babies, teach your friends, teach your family. It's all written down here, the instructions and the science behind it, including the website, heartmath.com. Thank you. Thank you, Reggie.
Thank you so much, Regina.
Thank you for the honor.
This song that played, Only Human, that song, I was back there just sobbing because I just think it's one of the most beautiful songs ever to be made by Christina Perri. And I think it just describes that human part of us. You know, we break down and we break through. And how many times have we experienced that in our own lives? How many times have we had the breakdown to find our way to the breakthrough? Which is exactly why we're here in the Love Church, which the Love Church was not my idea. It was actually Shannon's name. She suggested it when we were coming up with the name. And I didn't know that I wanted to call it church. I just wanted to call it spiritual nourishment, kind of like a place you go eat breakfast. You know, you come here to be spiritually nourished, just like you would go maybe over to Cracker Barrel, you know, to be physically nourished. And that was the entire idea for the Love Church. We're going to explore over, you know, the next infinity, so many wonderful ideas and so many wonderful concepts and so many different ways to get in touch within yourself to God energy. And if you notice, when I lead a prayer, I always say the presence of God. I don't say, you know, Father, Mother. Unity churches, we say Father, Mother, God. In traditional Christian churches, we'll say Heavenly Father. But here, we're going to say the presence of God, knowing that God is not a being, but God is a presence. And that presence actually transcends gender. So, at least from my perspective, God is not male nor female. God is either you say both or all the above. And I don't believe God is a being. I believe God is a presence. And that it's just hard for our human minds to comprehend that because we want to assign our labels to everything. We want to assign the label of gender to God. We want to make God masculine, God the Father. And that hasn't always been the case. That's just been the case more recently in our Christian faith. But if we go back to older, we will see even systems that were more matriarchal, and we will see the presence of the goddess in a lot of places. So I always, when you hear me pray, I'm going to say presence of God. And now you know what that means when I word it that way, because I do believe that God transcends our labels. I believe angels do as well, for that matter. And even if I think an angel takes on a gender because it makes us more comfortable. So Michael is more masculine with his sword because that's where we associate that energy. And Gabriel, at least for me, is more feminine and the healer angel. But truly, if we want to get down to it, I don't even believe they have gender. I believe they take one on for our purposes. And while we're at it, your soul doesn't have gender either. You know, I believe that we incarnate with a gender. So you will incarnate as male or incarnate as female, but you're actually not male or female. And when we get into Akashic records and we start looking at other lifetimes, you're going to see where you've been male and female, and you've been every, you know, skin color you could have. You've probably incarnated on every continent on the planet. And we just see so many things that we think are big, huge ideas that separate us from each other, you know. Well, let's put all the females on this side and all the males on this side. Let's put all the Christians on this side and all the Muslims on this side. Let's put all the blue-collar workers on one side and the white-collar workers on the other. When we start tearing away these labels, what we find is that even as a soul, we're part of a collective. And it's that collective is the focus for our very first talk today, okay? I'm not here to be a preacher, I'm here to be a teacher. So that's like right from the given. I do not have all the answers. I know, shocked, right? If you just could have seen Regina's face just now. Even having a connection and being someone who can hear spirit and channel spirit and hear angels and see angels and channel angels, that doesn't give me all the answers simply because my capacity as a human in this body, which is why we played the Only Human song, limits that. Our physical ego human self limits our capacity to understand. And so that's what ascension and alignment are all about. It is about getting beyond those limitations and connecting to the soul within that doesn't have these labels, that's not male or female, and connecting to that part of you that can then help you seek that God consciousness. If no one's ever told you, God consciousness exists in every cell in your body. Every cell, even the tip of your toe, right? God consciousness is there. And so that wisdom is already within you. The problem is that we've been separated from it forever. It has been taken away from us and pulled away from us and told that it's not for us. You know, there have been definite times on this planet that you've been told you could not speak to God directly. You needed an intermediary. There have been times when you've been told that only certain people, you know, had a connection to God. I remember growing up in the church I grew up with, we had what were called prayer warriors. And these were people that we truly believed. Now keep in mind, I'm a little kid, so everything is literal, right? Everything is literal. That these people God favored. So if you could convince a prayer warrior to pray for your cause, God would grant it not because you deserved it, but because the prayer warrior had the special enough connection to God that God will give that prayer warrior anything that prayer warrior asks for. And you know, that's not true. That's not true at all, but that's just another way we've been separated from the God consciousness within. And remember, God is a presence, not a being. So you have that presence, that cosmic divine intelligence, that presence in every cell in your body. It's there, it's been there, and you don't have to go find it. You just have to remember it and connect to it and understand it and let it flow through you. And so that's what this church is about. So this first one is going to be, why are we here? This is why we're here. We're here to help others connect to the God consciousness within. And you know what? I don't care if you're atheist. So you can say that if you want to, if you prefer to take every time I say God or presence of God and say universe, knock yourself out. I don't care, and guess what? Neither does God, because that's an ego thing. Right? What you call me, that's a label, and that's an ego thing. And I propose to you that the presence of God does not have those issues. And so it doesn't matter. You know, same thing with angels. If you call an archangel an angel or a healing angel, or, you know, they're not going to be upset because they exist outside of what our human capacity for ego is. So that is really the purpose of the Love Church. It is to connect us to these higher truths. It is to connect you to the wisdom that already exists in every cell in your body. It's already there. All you have to do is learn how to remember to connect to it. There is an absolute void of connection right now on this planet. And that's what we light workers are here to do. We are here to promote and maintain connection. We have lots of interaction. You know, you can interact with people all day long through 1,000 different ways. You know, you can interact with people at the grocery store. You can interact with people through Facebook, through Twitter, through Instagram, through message boards. You can interact with people at your job. You can interact with people 18 hours a day and not connect with a single one of them. You know, we have enough empty interaction. What we need is connection. What we need is that ability to really connect. And just like Regina said in her meditation, all hearts are linked. You know, in the Course in Miracles and a Return to Love workshop that Marianne Williamson does, she reminds us over and over again, all minds are linked. And it's true, there's this collective consciousness that every one of us are a part of. Every one of us, you and me and everyone here and everyone out there, we're all part of one collective consciousness. So when one of us heals, all of us benefit. Same thing, when one of us is lost, all of us have to heal. All minds are linked, all hearts are linked. And it's this connection that we seem to be missing on this planet at this time. We think that in order for there to be an us, and for that us to give us a sense of identity and a sense of inclusion, that there must be another, right? And we're just going to push them over there because they're not part of us. Well, there is no other. There is only us. And that connection, that collective consciousness reminds us of this, that there is only us. And no level of interaction is ever going to give us the connection that we are screaming for, that we're basically bleeding for on this planet. And so when you take a moment and you stop and you think that there is no other, that there's only us, all hearts are linked, all minds are linked, you start to really see it in application in your life. You start to see it. And so the Love Church, you know, which I love that name, and even if you notice on your statements that you have, it says revolution, and then love is in all caps in red, you know, because it's about the love revolution. It is about reawakening love on this planet. And the first step to reawakening love on this planet is connection. It is seeing God in everybody, even those you would determine to be your enemy, even those that you would determine, you know, that are hurtful and hurting people. They're still part of the us. You know, they're still part of the greater plan. They're still part of the collective. No matter how much we would like to say, they're not. Over there, you know, you have nothing to do with me, and I have nothing to do with you, and you just go over there in the corner. Guess what? That doesn't really work. They're still part of us. Now, as an individual, you certainly have the right to choose who's going to be in your life. You absolutely have the right to choose who is safe to be in that life, who aligns with you, who aligns with your purpose. But even on a collective level, we have to understand that we do not have enemies. We have to understand that there is no other. And so we have to answer the call for love when that call is made, remembering that hurt people hurt people. Hurting people hurt people. And that as a collective, where is our responsibility? Well, as a soul, it's to answer the call for love. Now, what does that mean really? Does that mean that if, let's say, I'm going to use Regina since she did our meditation as an example. She goes outside and there's someone who is angry, and they are just wild in anger, and they're losing their capacity, and maybe they're even like flinging their arms and trying to hit and kick. What is her duty there to answer in the call for love? Is it to go get beat up? No. Thankfully, no. Is it to try to restrain the person? No. Is it to even interact with the person? No. So how does she answer the call of love instead of coming from a place of judgment and saying, wow, that is one jacked up person, or even saying something, you know, like, wow, that dude, you know, you are off the rails over there. Instead of coming at them from a place of separation, come at them from a place of inclusion and send them love. You know, understand that every thought and every feeling and every word that you say, that you think, that you speak, and that you hold the intention of creates an energetic charge in your person. And so that energetic charge goes out into the universe. So even if all you do is send them some love, you know, say, send in your love, hope you get a better day. And even if you're saying it in your car as you're driving away, you're answering the call for love. And that's enough. And see, we're not taught that. We're taught that either you separate from them and you see them as your enemy, and you don't go anywhere near them, right? Because they could hurt you. Or you need to go intervene and sacrifice yourself for that. And the truth is, no, there's another option. And that option is sending them love, wrapping them visually in white light. Maybe it's even calling help for them. I'm afraid this person is going to hurt themselves or hurt someone else, so I am going to go ahead and call the police because I want to make sure they're safe, right? So these are things that you can do, but your intention and where you come from matters. Every situation is either an offering of love or a call for love. An interaction would just be walking by that person and going, I don't know what you're on, but that is a bad trip. Don't take it again. You know, right? That's an interaction level event. A connection level event is maybe getting in your car, taking a moment, sending them love, praying for their wholeness, for their wellness, for their recovery, maybe even sending some soft pink light, some white light, whatever you want to do, and sending them compassion, sending them love, sending them peace. That is what makes the difference here. That is connection and not interaction. And we've lost that. And my concern, and one of the real catalysts for starting a Love Church was this. I'm concerned about what we're teaching our children. Because we're teaching them empty interaction based on impulsive emotions. We are teaching them that it's okay to hate. And I'll use celebrities as an example. if you watch any of those shows, the amount of hate that comes at them every single day. Now, one could argue that's, they're used to it, they ignore it, it sells their movies, whatever. But I'm more worried about what it's doing to our kids, because they believe that's how we're supposed to interact. They believe that this is how you judge someone, or how you speak to them, or what you write about them, and they are believing that this is connection, and they're believing that this is what you're supposed to do, instead of this is an empty interaction that is not helping anyone. That's negative. That's taking us the wrong direction. And so we have to start teaching our kids real connection. We have to get them off their screens enough, heart-centered, so that they can learn what real connection looks like, so that they can learn what real connection feels like, so that they're not, thinking, and that's what we're seeing in our schools right now. Bullying is a huge problem. We're seeing violence in our schools. Why? Because we've lost the ability to connect. And there's lots of reasons. I could definitely see every reason, other reason. But as a soul, what is the catalyst here? It's that we see us and we see them. We see the other, and the other is not me. And if you're not me, therefore, you could be my enemy. We've lost the ability to connect. We don't see the child that everybody's picking on sitting alone in the lunchroom, right? Well, nobody talks to that kid. That kid's weird, right? Nobody talks to that kid. And so because these kids want to fit in, they listen to that, So nobody's going and sitting with this little child over here. We've lost the ability to connect. Over and over again, connection is what we have to heal on this planet. The ability to see ourselves reflected in everybody and know that every soul has value. Yes. Every soul has value. If you are the CEO of a multi-billion-dollar company, or you are the man that we frequently see sleeping downtown in Norman, where the wedding dress place is in that little inlet, if you go down there in the evening, that's where he's set up to sleep. And almost every single night, every time I've been down there, that's exactly where he is set up to sleep. His value as a soul is the same as the CEO's. His value as the soul is the same as mine and the same as yours. God exists in every cell in his body, just like mine and just like yours and just like that, multi-billion-dollar CEO. And this is what we've lost. We've started making decisions on values of souls, which then justify our refusal to connect to people anymore. And we've become so afraid of our feelings in this. We've become afraid to connect because, I don't want to feel that. I don't want to feel that sadness. And I definitely am a strong proponent of being mindful of your feelings and being in control of your feelings and knowing what you're feeling and, creating feelings that support the life you want. But when it comes to connection and connectedness, we have to be willing to feel. We can't get there through logic alone. If we could, we wouldn't have a huge homeless population. We wouldn't have children going to bed hungry, and we wouldn't have all the school violence that we have going on right now. Logic cannot get us there, because logic can give us interactions. We can logically sit on Facebook and have a conversation with somebody, right, without any feels. It's just, or superficial feels, if you will. But we can have that logic-based conversation, that logic-based interaction, without ever touching our heart, without ever touching our ability to connect to another person. And actually I had no idea what meditation you were going to do today, but it was just perfect. It absolutely was perfect for what we're talking about today. And that's the entire reason we're starting this service here, is to help promote connection, to help promote love, and to help us see that it is so much harder to withhold love than it is to give love. And we're not being taught this. We're not being taught that loving others should be as easy to you as breathing. And we have to do it from a place of balance. Because, every time that we have something that's way out of balance, we have a pendulum either far this direction or far this direction, right? So over here, we have, the worship of disconnect. We have, well, if you're going to have value, you have to be really wealthy or really powerful or whatever. Well, when the pendulum swings this far this way, this means it has to come back this way. So over here we have people sacrificing themselves and martyring themselves and putting everybody first but themselves. To quote Louise Hay, you're a people too. You're somebody and you matter. So connection matters for you. So either extreme is not good, whether it's this extreme over here where the only people I want to ever know are people with money, power, and privilege, or this extreme over here, which is more about, well, I don't matter, so the least I can do is sacrifice myself over and over again for everybody else. We find the answers in the middle. Both extremes come to the middle, because this is where we find the connection, and this is where we find the answers. And this is where we find the solutions and the peace. And that is what has to happen now. We have to find the solutions and we have to find the peace. And it starts right here, right now, today. It starts with you and it starts with me. The energy and the intent and the focus that you are adopting into your life at this moment can become the spark and the catalyst that changes the lives of countless others. As a candle, you can light the paths of countless people and never have to sacrifice yourself. And again, both extremes are out of balance. Both. It's about the middle. Okay? It's about connection. We have to find a way to connect again. And in so many ways, our media, like from news, and our entertainment TV shows and our reality TV shows and then our social media and then our web-based news, it's made the world a really small place in some ways, right? Because right now, I guarantee you, somebody's live streaming in probably almost every country on the planet so that you can see those lives and see that place. But again, are we connecting? Are we interacting? Because what's happened is we've made the world seem a lot smaller, but we've made people seem much further apart. Our world's gotten smaller, but our population has grown apart. And we need to flip that some. We need to bring our population back to center and our connection back to center and see that every soul has value. Everyone deserves to eat. Everyone deserves a bed and a pillow at night. Everyone deserves love. Everyone deserves. And this idea that we should be placing values on souls is completely out of alignment with truth. It's completely out of alignment with God consciousness. It's completely out of alignment with Christ consciousness. It's out of alignment with who we are as souls. And so in Oklahoma, for those of you that aren't in Oklahoma, we're talking about having not just a teacher strike, but a state worker strike. Because our teachers are not being paid well enough, their classrooms are not being funded. It really is an education crisis. It's a social crisis here in Oklahoma. And I deeply regret that these actions are necessary, but I absolutely support our state employees and our teachers as they strike. Okay? With that being said, it is shameful to begin with that they're not giving a livable wage. And it's even more shameful to begin with that someone is coming along and telling them they're not worth a livable wage. Mm-hmm. So when you see that, well, you get off 2 months a year. If you want a real salary, work a full-time job. No, friends, no. And so when we're talking about raising the minimum wage to a livable wage, why in the world would anyone not deserve a livable wage? I do not care if you are serving at a restaurant, whether you own your own business, whether you are retail in a clothing store, or whether you are, a cashier in a grocery store. Everyone deserves a livable wage. So everyone deserves that. Every soul. We cannot continue to assign values to souls and not have deep, fracturing consequences in our collective. Everyone deserves this. And so if you have to spend some time with that, spend some time with it. That if we truly accept the premise that God consciousness exists in every single cell in your body, from the top of your head to the tip of your toes, and it exists in everyone else's body, why would that person not deserve to eat? Why? It's crazy. It's insane. If we worked more on empowering each other instead of judging each other, maybe we could empower populations that are homeless and populations that are hungry. We could work better to help them see their own power and their own value. This is not really a money crisis. It is a soul crisis. it is a crisis of consciousness. And it's when we are hearing the call and we're being asked to step up and we're being asked to see that value. So whatever you do, and I agree, that we all should be able to manifest whatever we want in our lives, but we all need to be empowered and believe it's possible. And the worst thing you can ever do to create a great life for yourself is to diminish someone else's value. I see there was a meme that went out, and it was from someone who made it, assigned it to a paramedic. I have no idea if a paramedic did it or not, but he said, I'm a paramedic, this is what I do all day, and you want to pay the burger flipper the same as me. Oh. And it was just like, knife through my heart, because again, every soul has the same value. So why isn't everybody paid a livable wage? I mean, I vote we pay everybody a livable wage, and then those that have more specialties can increase off that. But at the minimum, everybody needs a livable wage. At the minimum, everybody needs to know that there's going to be food in the refrigerator, there's going to be a pillow to lay their head at night, and there's going to be a roof over their heads. And if they get sick, they're not going to have to sacrifice, electricity for medicine. These are basic, very basic things that the God consciousness in your soul makes you already worthy of. Already worthy of. Mm. And so this is what we are answering the call, light workers. This is what we're here to do. We're here to answer the call. We're here to make the difference. We're here to stand up, shine our light, and say, hey, if you're lost, I can light this path if this is the one you want to take. And if it's not, no problem. There will be someone else light a path for you somewhere else that you might want to take. But that's what a light worker does. And that's what we're doing when we're answering the call for love on this planet. So the challenge is connection. The challenge is being able to find a way to connect so that we are empowering ourselves and empowering others and teaching these younger generations how to connect, because they're just not getting it. They're not understanding that words are powerful. They're not understanding that one of my daughters told me one time, a girl in her class looked right at another student and said, you are so useless, you just need to go kill yourself. And I'm just like, taken aback by it, because I cannot imagine ever saying that to another soul. Yet this girl said it without any understanding. I don't think she grasped it. I don't think she really in a million years wanted this other girl to go kill herself. But she said it. Why? Because it was an interaction and not a connection. Mm. If she had connection, those words never would have come out of her mouth. If she had connection, that thought never would have been entertained. If she had connection, she would have seen herself in that other girl, and if that girl was struggling, she would have offered help instead of fear, instead of hate, instead of hurt. And that becomes our challenge. And that, my friends, is why we're here. Mm. So, okay, this is the first service at the Love Church. We're going to continue. I'm probably going to start off on a schedule, maybe every other Sunday, till we get enough interest to justify me getting up early on my one day to sleep in to come down here. But we'll get there. I have faith we'll get there. Let me see the rest of my announcements I have. All right, so, and we will be live streaming every service. We were actually going to do it twice today. Once on a camera back there and once on a phone up here. And one of the kids borrowed my camera and took out the discs. So there's a reason why I hashtag so many things, the only slightly frazzled Zen mom, for moments like this. Okay, we are not going to, at least at any time that I can foresee, pass an offering basket at the Love Church. I just don't like it. I feel like it opens the door for people to be judged. I feel like it doesn't feel right to me. It doesn't feel love-based to me. However, if you choose to make a donation, it's going to be by the door in a little gray box. You are not expected to. The only thing you're expected to do is love. That's the only thing expected of you, is to take this out into the world and make it love. That's it. Okay? But if you choose to, it's going to be back there. All donations received will go to support this work. So, we do all kinds of things with donations to the My LightWorker Institute, and we can make your donations tax deductible. So if you make sure you let me know, this is my donation and this is what I want, I can get your receipt, because we are a 501c3. So we can totally do that for you. Let's see. Some of the things that we've done, I've paid rent for people. I've paid their electric bills for people. I have bought them food countless times. I was in Taco Bueno one day last summer, and Spirit just said, give that kid your phone number. He's going to need you soon. So I did, and I really kind of was hoping he didn't think I was a predator, because I'm going up to a teenager and giving him my phone number. But 2 days later, he texted me, and he said, I really need help. There's a football camp I want to go to. My family can't afford it. You said if I needed anything, can you help? And I said, send me the link. And so the My LightWorker Institute paid for his football camp. We just did it. I said, send me the link, and I had it paid for in about 20 minutes. So this is the kind of stuff we do to just keep the love going, And again, there's only so much one person can do, but I do as much as I can. So anytime you make a donation to either Love Church or My LightWorker Institute, this is the stuff the money goes to. And we really do work hard at taking care of our community. And any gathering at my house, we do them, every couple months, is always open to the community. We have open heart, open home. Every Thanksgiving and Christmas are open to anyone in the community without a place to go. So my family, my husband, my children, we've been living this for several years now, this idea of love-based living, and now we've just formalized it into the Love Church. But it's always been who we were. Now we're just going to take it to the next level. While we're on announcements, for those that are interested, we have our 25th, his and mine, anniversary coming up next month, and we're going to do a vow renewal. I'm working on location, so if you know of a location local that we can host this, let me know. We're trying to find a place that we can just have it's not going to be formal. I don't have time to throw anything together formal, but it'll be kind of an informal party, and we're going to renew our vows and celebrate that with all of our friends and family. When we got married, I was in high school. Was not pregnant. But got married in high school. He had just graduated. I was still a senior. We had no idea what we were doing. We just knew that we decided we were already engaged. We were actually already living together. And we decided Tuesday to get married Friday.
Oh.
So it was a pay by the person chapel in Earlsboro, Oklahoma. It was just as redneck as you can imagine. This one probably will be as well. Sometimes you just keep up with what's working, right? So look for announcements on that if you're interested in coming to that. And does anyone else have an announcement they want made? Do you have one, Scott, or anybody else here? Anything, you have projects, you have classes, you have events, you have anything that you want to announce to the community. This is at the end, we'll open the space for any announcements that you want to make. Water has an announcement. Yes.
Today I'm going to go in. Norman Alternative is meeting at the Loop.
Okay.
Which Celia is coordinating. But it's different people from the Norman area that have different ways of doing things.
Okay.
To share that.
Okay.
And so this is the first live event that they've done all together. So just to let people know that.
Okay. And that's at the Loop here in Norman, and it will be streamed live?
I don't know.
Oh, that's not, you went by live. Okay, never mind. My bad.
Sorry, I meant, she said, they may be filming that.
Okay.
I don't know, but I think it's just a get together. Basically, it's the first one that they've done.
Okay.
They've been doing things on Facebook, and now they're doing this.
What time is that?
At 1 o'clock.
At 1 o'clock. Okay, at the Loop, downtown Norman, and it's Norman Alternative, just different ways, different people coming together to find different ways to do things. Okay, I love that. Awesome. I'm assuming if it's at the Loop with Cheryl, there'll be essential oils. Probably so, because that's definitely her thing to do. Okay, well, always try to get you in and out in under an hour. That way, if you want to hit those restaurants, you get there before the crowd. And so we've accomplished our goal. We have about 10 minutes left on our hour. We're going to, we'll hear one more song, and then I'm going to do an ending prayer and meditation, and then we'll leave on another song. So we'll go ahead and go back to your meditative place. We'll listen to this, and we'll be right back.
when troubles come and my heart burden be, then I am still and wait here in the silence until you come and sit a while with me. You raise me up so I can stand on mountains. You raise me up to walk on stormy seas. I am strong when I am on your shoulders. You raise me up to more than I can be. You raise me up so I can stand on mountains. You raise me up to walk on stormy seas. I am strong when I am on your shoulders. You raise me up to more than I can be. You raise me up so I can stand on mountains. You raise me up to walk on stormy seas. I am strong when I am on your shoulders. Raise me up to more than I can be. You raise me up so I can stand on mountains. You raise me up to walk on stormy seas. I am strong when I am on your shoulders. You raise me up to more than I can be. You raise me up to more than I can be.
Just remain in your heart center. Feel that heart center opening up. Feel the love of the divine flowing through you. Allow it to awaken from every soul and every cell in your body. Let the love in. Let yourself commune and become one with Spirit, with Christ consciousness, and with God consciousness. You raise me up. Make a decision right now that every moment of your life will become deliberate. Make a decision right now to live on purpose. You and you alone decide the kind of person that you are. You and you alone decide the life that you live. You did not incarnate on this planet to be unhappy or sick or suffer or alone. You incarnated on this planet to live a magnificent life. You incarnated with a deep and profound truth that radiates throughout your entire soul and into this world. You deeply matter. Your happiness matters. Your well-being matters. Your feelings matter. It's time to come off autopilot in that place of just superficial interaction. It's time to awaken from a place of deep connection. It is time to see the divine in everyone around you. It is time to see that truth flowing through your veins, being present in your words, and also in your thoughts. If you could only see yourself through the eyes of the divine, if you could only see the value that Spirit already honors that you have, you would awaken to an even greater level of expansion. You would honor yourself, who you are, and what you came here to do. Friends, the time for playing small is over. The time for hiding and shrinking, those days are done. It is time to live fully, completely, and passionately. It is time to awaken the God consciousness and the God light that is within you. It is time to awaken it, to live it, to share it, to speak it, to know it, to be it, and also to awaken it within others. Go in peace, go in love. Namaste. Thank you for coming. This is it's the only human song.
Oh.
That was my favorite song. That's my favorite song. Okay. You go right ahead.
Let's look back here and see the 8.
I'll never forget that. Now we're not in that moment.
They're kind of known for being loud and proud.
I'm in the, you know.
Piper was a 2-hour I thought I was on the side.
She made it all the way through with that front.
That's not live stream. Let me take care of that. Over his